His name is Robert the Doll. Many say he has supernatural powers and can cause anyone great harm. But is this doll really haunted and dangerous? Or is this just another urban legend gone wild? Come join me on a Bill's Channel special field investigation to the hometown of Robert the Doll. Hey guys, Bill here. I can't tell you how thrilled I am that this week's special show is being sponsored by one of our favorites, War Robots. This awesome tactical 6 vs 6 multiplayer game has been installed by over 90 million players, and I can see why. These 3D graphics make you feel like you're right inside the game. It's really amazing. With War Robots, not only do you get to choose your own robot, but you define your own gameplay. You can go it alone or you can go multiplayer, but either way, you're gonna need a good strategy to win. Watch this. Boom! Install War Robots now using my link below and get a huge starter pack of 1 Griffin robot, 2 pin weapons, 2 Columbus weapons, 100 gold, and 400,000 silver. Guys, what I really like about this game the best are the constant updates with new robots, new maps, and new game mods too. So get clicking, come over here and join me, and we'll both go completely crazy! This is the city of Key West, Florida, the most southern city in the United States. It's also the 3rd most haunted city in America, with numerous companies offering nightly ghost tours through a bevy of haunted houses. The most famous ghost story of them all here centers around a rather large doll called Robert.
As a child, who hasn't dreamed of a favorite doll or a teddy bear coming to life and being a very best friend forever and ever?
Robert's story begins here in the center of town at a place called the Artist House. This is where a young man named Robert Eugene Otto received the doll as a gift from his grandfather back in 1904. Young Robert developed an unusually close relationship with his doll. So close, in fact, Robert started going by his middle name, Eugene, so that the doll could take the name Robert. The two became inseparable, and Eugene began to claim Robert the doll had supernatural powers. Whenever something went wrong, Eugene would say, "Robert did it." Eugene's parents once told friends they were awoken by screams late in the night. They raced to Eugene's bedroom where they found their son holding the doll down to stop it from moving around. Eugene grew up to become an artist, but the doll was never out of his life for very long. In fact, it stayed with him until he died as an old man in 1974. But even after Eugene was gone, the doll remained in the house for many years and has been blamed for car accidents, broken bones, job loss, divorce, and a whole bunch of other bad things. Since that time, there have been numerous movies and TV shows made about Robert. Robert has his own creepypasta page and a handful of books as well. One of those books was written by Key West resident and author David L. Sloan.
This is a moment that people remember for the rest of their lives. The first time that they meet Robert the Doll.
Wow, there he is.
Let me introduce you.
Okay.
Robert, this is Bill. Bill's here to tell your story to the world, so we hope you're cool with that.
Okay, so I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Because, we do a show called Real or Fake.
Mm-hmm.
So we're interested in trying to determine whether this whole concept of him being a haunted doll is real or fake.
Right.
So what I'd like you to do is give me your 3 best examples of why it's true that he's a haunted doll.
I've got 3 good reasons why he's a haunted doll. My favorite story came from a curator, and she came in and Robert was locked in a case. It was a different case than he's in now. And she'd walk by and sometimes she'd hear giggling. Well, Robert had gone for a restoration. They cleaned up his outfit. It's an open air fort, so it's a little dusty. His feet were all clean, his sailor suit was clean, he was in his case. She came in the morning, she noticed he had dirt on the bottom of his feet, and there were little footprints in front of his case. She heard tapping and looked over and saw the doll move. She ran out of the place. They say she left her bike, she quit the job. The maintenance people ran after her to see what was wrong. And she said, I'm not coming back to that place. She quit her job.
David's second best evidence was another story about a tour group that came to see Robert.
There was a group here on a trolley tour, and one woman was being disrespectful to Robert. She had had a bit to drink, and she was like, you know, hey. Robert threw his lion at the case, and there was the entire group on the tour saw that.
Really? How long ago did this happen?
This happened about 1.5 years, 2 years ago.
Year and a half?
Year and a half, 2 years ago.
Is there any way to find any of those witnesses?
Maybe.
David's third piece of evidence had to do with the first time he visited the artist house, the place where Robert the doll had been stored for many years.
So the first time I came in here, I came in to ask about the ghost of Anne. And I talked to Daryl. He had his front desk set up right here. He was the owner of the place. And I said, I'm here to talk to you about your ghost. And he goes, oh, you mean Robert? I said, no, I mean Anne. Yeah. And I said, who's Robert? And he said, oh, let me tell you. And as soon as we started talking about Robert, there was a phone in the desk. The receiver flew off the hook and shot out and shot back.
The receiver?
Yeah, the part
you mean
the other
part, on the old phones?
Yeah,
with the line.
Yeah, with the line. And it reached out and stretched back. I kind of looked, he thought nothing of it. It was like no surprise to him. And then he said, come here, let me show you where he lived. And it was very weird, you know? I mean, this is one of the first houses I started investigating the ghosts in. And we walked by here, and there was like a bookcase going up against the wall. And the door opened up and kind of blocked us from walking.
All right, so the phone flies off the hook while you're standing here, and then you go to walk here, and a door for a bookcase opens up on its own.
Yeah, and he says, I think Robert doesn't want you going up. He said, come on, we're coming up anyway. And then we came up. Let me show you. And as we get to the top, he points ahead, and you see the really steep staircase going up to the attic. And he says, this is where Robert lived, come on.
Robert was up here?
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is spooky. So, was this during the daytime when he did this?
Yeah, it was middle of the afternoon. So we come up, and Daryl opens up his hatch. And we come into this room, and we come up here, and this room, now it's used for storage, but it was furnished with little furniture. It looked like little kids were about to have a tea party. There was a small wooden bench, a small wooden chair, little tables, all little Robert-sized things. And I immediately...
Was it set up like a room for him?
It was set up like the room had been set up for him. It hadn't been changed at the time.
Wow.
And I got this very negative heat energy. I thought that I was going to throw up. I felt like that metal rod going up my back. And I told Daryl, I said, I've got to get out of here. I'm not feeling good. And we went down.
That was it. That was your introduction to Robert.
Yeah, that was my introduction to Robert. I went to the museum later that day, got the exact same feeling.
Wow.
A couple days later. But when I saw him, when I saw the doll the next time, same feeling.
All right, so let me ask you something. Because I need to ask you very succinctly. And that is, in your opinion, do you think Robert the doll is a haunted doll, real or fake?
I believe real. You know, I like to be a skeptic. I like to say what else can cause things. I've seen enough people who have encountered Robert firsthand who have had things happen. There's no denying the experience these people are having. So Robert's having an effect on them. Whether it's a psychological effect or a ghostly effect, I'm not the one to say. I know the encounters I've had, and I've got no doubt in my mind that he's real.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
That's some pretty compelling evidence from a man who has not only studied this character for years, but also wrote the book on it. So if anybody knows the truth, it's got to be David L. Sloan. Okay? Now, add to this the fact that letters arrive at the museum every day asking Robert for forgiveness. You see, what happens is a lot of people visit the museum, they either take his picture without asking permission, or they make fun of him, or, in some way disrespect him. Then they go home and terrible things happen. They realize they made a mistake and they write Robert asking for forgiveness. All right, so now it's time to let me know what you're thinking out there. I mean, what are you guys thinking? You thinking real? You thinking fake? Thinking unknown? Could be an unknown. I'll tell you what, this is what I want to do. When I say go, what I want you to do is yell out as loud as you can, either real or fake. Now, if you can't do that, it's okay to pause the video, go to the comment section, leave your answer very quietly down there so Robert doesn't hear you if you're calling him a fake. And then come back here, play the rest of the video, and we'll see if you're right or not. A third way to go is just to vote right up here. You ready? And go. Hey, while we're waiting for everybody to vote, let's take a look at what a couple of people said on my community page about whether they think Robert is real or fake. London Williams said real because I don't think anyone would make that up. Free Bloomberg wrote, if it's in a museum, then it's real. On the other hand, Yaya Gaming said it's fake because there's a creepypasta about it. It's Blobby also thinks it's fake because if it was alive, wouldn't it need a heart and lungs? And finally, Commander Raymond spoke for a lot of you people when he just wrote, unknown. Okay, did you vote? Good, because I think we better get to the answer right away and find out whether Robert the Doll is something to be afraid of or not. Because I hate living in fear, and if it's fake, I want to know about it right away. All right, here we go. Oh, and by the way, a lot of you guys wrote in and said you think it's real because you watched the video that Omar Gosh TV made. Well, listen, I just want you guys to know we also took a look at that one. And, well, I really like Omar. He's a great guy. But can you say, so fake, it's funny! All right, so let's look at the official answer that we have over here. Okay. All right, says all the usual. We've looked at all the evidence, we've consulted with the experts, and based on all that, we have a final determination. And that determination is Robert the Doll, as a haunted creature with supernatural powers, is No, actually, I'm not saying it because what it says here is fake. Guys, I'm calling this one fake because there is no solid evidence to prove anything about Robert as real. We live in a world saturated with cameras and surveillance video, but yet there isn't one piece of imagery or video showing Robert doing anything other than just sitting there. At the very least, you would think the museum would place a baby monitor or something in the room. I mean, come on. In regards to number one, where the employee quit, I couldn't find anyone who even knew who this person was, much less get in touch with her. In the case of number two, David did get me in touch with the tour guide who supposedly witnessed the event of the drunk woman, but unfortunately, his company wouldn't allow him to talk about it. And as far as number three goes, we only have David himself as a witness to this one, so there's no confirmation of the events in the attic. In the end, I think what we need to do with this one is kind of leave it like the Megalodon. In other words, I'm going to leave the file open, and if anybody can come up with any solid, real evidence that proves Robert the Doll is real, not only will I change the official answer from fake to real, but I will make a video telling you I was wrong, okay? In the meantime, I'll just be holding on to my own little replica here of Robert the Doll, and if anything bad happens to me, you will be the first one to know. Right, Robert?
Right, Bill, because I'm gonna kill you.
No, Robert, how can you be so evil? Look at that little sailor suit. You look so cute. Funny guy. Okay, well, that's all the time I have for this video. I've got my favorite spooky fake of the week coming up in just a second. But first, I want to send out a big thanks to David L. Sloan and Michael Jensen, who both helped me tremendously getting the story done. I'm going to be leaving a link to David's book in the description box, and I highly suggest you check it out because it is really well detailed. I also have a special shout out for the East Martello Museum and Laura Fox at the Artist House, which, by the way, is now a bed and breakfast, and you can spend the night there. And hey, don't forget, we have a new show every Friday, so don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as the notifications bell so you get a shot at being first official comment and win the pin. If you have a picture and you're not quite sure whether it's real or not, send it in to me at billschannel@gmail.com and I'll take a look. Please don't leave links or suggestions in the comment section because really, the only thing that is going to do is turn me into a mega screamer screaming, "You're driving me crazy!" See you next time. And now for my favorite fake of the week. It's a video that claims to show a baby dinosaur successfully cloned by scientists. The video was first sent in by Bobby Lovins, who said he found it on Facebook. Bobby, the giveaway on this one is this little tag you see right here. It says JPL, and that stands for Jurassic Park Laboratories, who just happen to be the people who make all the dinosaurs for the Jurassic Park movies. Can you say super fake?